Yeah, my name is Jochen Krisch. I'm from Exciting Commerce. Basically, I'm an analyst and researcher in the e-commerce space. We do a lot in the German market, but obviously we look into companies everywhere in the world. And I want to give you a short presentation about global online retail. I think this is at the time the most exciting part of the industry, and I want to give you a quick overview. Basically what we do is blogging and writing, researching, and we have a conference established in the last 5 years where we focus on growth and strategy. The K5 conference, it's once per year, and there we invite all the bigger players in the e-commerce space. And what we see, or what we saw in the last couple of years is when we started 10 years ago, we were happy when we found companies that had 10 million euro or dollars in revenue, and very proud online pure players that came in these regions. Then 5 years ago, the level was 100 million euro, and in the meantime, we talk about companies that have 1 billion euro or dollars, so really big players, and this gives you an impression of the dynamic of this space. And now many companies went public, so lots of IPOs, and as we see, you only reach this kind of levels if you consider yourself a global player, and that's why we see more very international companies. And the next frontier, so to say, is 10 billion euros or dollars in revenue, and we see already, of course, there's always Amazon as the big company with this year they will have 100 billion dollars in revenue, and then there is the lineup, and this is one chart. It's more or less the 2014 figures that you see, where you see that there are only few companies, online pure players, that reach this 1 billion mark, but there are the bigger ones, and there are obviously lots of Chinese companies now, and that goes straight to the 10 billion. And this is the list so far. This is more or less everything we have or everything we know, and this is the exciting part of the business. So if you look at the IPOs in the last year, in the last 2 years, this is a list of, it's not the full list, but a selection of 28 companies. If you look who went public in the last couple of years, then you see the yellow chart, pretty many of them are public now, and so it's easier for us to track them and to get information and to really see what's their strategy and how do they perform in this space. And so what we thought, or what we see, is we now have a chance to really track it, and we do it by what we call a global online retail index, Glory 25. This has these are some examples of companies that we have in. The focus is more or less on still growth companies, 20% to 25% growth. Strong focus on category leaders. So we don't consider all the companies that go public, but only companies that really want to be the leader in fashion space, in the luxury fashion space. Here you see, for instance, the combination of Yoox and Net-a-Porter, which just merged this year, or ASOS, of course, ASOS, Ocado, Wayfair, pretty new in the public space. So these are companies where you can really watch per category how good or bad they perform, but pretty much I think this is the future of the online retail space. And interestingly is, if you really watch this for a longer time, you see most of them are founder-led still. So they're still the people that do the strategy. And as of course now it's still early in this space, we have to consider some holding companies. And holding companies, you see some of them in the charts. It would be Naspers, would be Kinnevik, would be QVC, Liberty Interactive. These are companies that heavily invest in the e-commerce space or in the interactive retail space. And as we our vision or our principle is always what we do if we do conference or anything, we want to do it publicly, and that's why the online retail index has a global online retail fund that is really a public fund where anybody is able to invest and participate in this development. So you see we launched it in October 2015, very recently, and we see already the traction that these companies have, and we really try to select the most interesting companies. If you look at what's next for these companies, for other companies, I wanted to focus on 2 points. Platform strategies, of course, Amazon is the number one, and I didn't put all their hardware collection here, but I wanted to focus on 2. Of course, there's the Kindle strategy for reading, but they launched the Dash strategy for replenishment services, so they have the Dash stick, and they have the Dash button where you can reorder your products at home. And then, of course, they have the Amazon Echo, which is more or less the Alexa service where you can talk to the gadget, to the device, and reorder things or even get information on this. And I think this is probably the next level for the e-commerce space, that we see more and more companies that want to be platform providers. We see this with Amazon, we see this in Germany with Zalando, which changed their strategy, and now considers them a platform company too, which want to, on the one hand, want to interact more with brands and bring them on their platform and provide services for the platform, but they even consider them as an advertising player, and they have several new services, especially in the mobile space, where they bring their concept to the next level. And of course, this is a new level of revenues that they can get to. Especially in the second point, platform strategy was the first. The second point is mobile explosion, because I think, especially in the European area, we see now several very dedicated e-commerce services. And here again, Zalando as example, because they really have the mobile-first strategy launched, and they do a lot of cooperation. They develop in-house solutions for the mobile space. So we see this year and, of course, the next year, a lot of services that they will launch in this mobile space. This is one thing, established players launching mobile services, and the other one is we see what exciting new companies come to the markets, and then we have companies like Enjoy. This is one of the examples that launched recently, and especially in a segment you probably wouldn't have expected it in the tech space, consumer electronic space, a new mixture between a retailer and a service for these products. And I think this is, the mobile space is, for me, exciting because it's pretty much the same as I started. We hope for revenues of 10 million, and then if they get the money, they will go to 100 million. And I think the next generation of really big e-commerce players will come in the mobile space. So that's for me. Thank you very much for your attention.